Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video. And as is tradition for the channel, early in the new year, I sit here on my fat ass and I talk to you and tell you all the games, video games, I finished in the previous year. Done this ever since 2019, where I of course covered 2018 games and so on, 2020, 2019 games, 2021, 2020 games. You know how years work. And guess what? Back here again, once again, to show you all the games I finished in 2021, which was not like the best year for me when it comes to finishing games. 2020, I finished, I think, 50 games, or maybe a little bit above 50. I remember being around 50. And yeah, this year I only finished 35 games, which I think was around how many I finished in 2019. So we went down, which kind of sucks, but I finished some quality games, some games I've never played before, some games I have played before and just replayed again. And you know what, really looking at it again, I'm not too upset. I'm not too upset with what I've done, what I finished in 2021. I wish I finished more, but what I got accomplished, not too bad. So before we get started though, I'm doing it a little bit different this year. I'm actually going through a Twitter thread that I made throughout the year. As you can see, January 1st, 2021 is when I made this original tweet. And then throughout the thread, I would update whatever I beat. So you can actually see exactly when I beat these games, because immediately when I get to credits, I type up a thing, you know, a little mini review, and then say how long it took me to beat and when I beat it and stuff. So you can actually see as we're going through when I beat it. By the way, wait, hold on, let me move this down because you can see a piece of, okay. By the way, follow me on Twitter. So if you want to keep up with all your GorTheMovieGod crap on Twitter, go ahead, follow me on Twitter. I'm also doing a thread real quick. I'm doing a thread for this year right now, which here's a spoiler for this year. I already beat one game. Look at this, Warriors of Fate. It's a short little game, but finish that. All right, so let's get to it. You ready? You ready? Yeah, you ready? Let's go, baby. Number 1, Ghost of Tsushima. It took me 55 hours to complete. I even did a little review. You can read it if you want there. You know, let's zoom in a little bit, actually. There you go. Actually, let's have we make this just a wee bit bigger. Yeah, there you go. That's fine. All right, so Ghost, I'll just call it Ghost. Was a game I really wanted to play. Of course, that came out in 2020. So I finished it. I binged it pretty much all of it in the beginning of last year. Had my PS5, so the game ran great and stuff. Really want to go back and actually play it now because I got that OLED, so I bet it'll look really nice on there. But a great game, absolutely loved it. I even gave it a rating, I think. Well, I would give it like a 9. I'd probably a 9.5 or whatever. Fantastic game, looked absolutely incredible. Loved the combat, loved the story. All the characters were great. Really, really loved this game. So I'm glad I played it, and it was a great way to start the year. So that's why when I look back on the year, I'm like, you know what, actually, not too bad. I started the year, and I started this game like the beginning of January, and I finished it 55 hours. I finished it in only like a couple weeks. So considering I started off the year with a big chungus game like this, almost 60 hours, technically more than 60 hours now, because you'll see later why. Yeah, so 55 hours to complete that. Fantastic game. I think my second favorite game of 2020. So anyway, number 2 is Immortals Phoenix Rising, which, to be fair, I did start in 2020. No, 2020. It took me a little while to finish it. It's just a 30-hour game. That's how long it took me to finish it, at least. I didn't do all the side stuff, but I did a good amount. So it took me a little while, and I finished it in January, a couple days after Ghost of Tsushima. And I thought it was a great game, really fun. I just think there's too many puzzles, as you can see right there. I said the same thing there. I just think there's way too many puzzles, honestly. Like, Breath of the Wild did a great job of balancing puzzles and combat and exploration and survival and stuff like that, and even story, where I think Immortals Phoenix Rising, like, the story itself is not great. It's all right. It's cute, I guess. I like, you kind of like, I tuned out most of the time, but for the most part, it wasn't like annoying or anything. It was just kind of forgettable. The gameplay itself is a lot of fun, but it's just like, it's not balanced right to me. It's just way too many puzzles. Like, the combat's fun, the puzzles can be fun. It's just too many, I thought. Like, and there weren't like they weren't hard puzzles at all. They were pretty easy, but there's just too many. So it's just like, oh, here's another puzzle I have to move. They weren't like the most super clever puzzles either. I know I'm kind of shitting on it, but I really enjoyed my time. I liked exploring the world and getting all the stuff. There's a lot of things to collect, as you would expect from an Ubisoft game, but it was still fun. I would recommend it, especially now because you can get it for like $15. I definitely recommend it then if you need a game to really like tide you over for a while. Next is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This is not the first time I played this game. We did this for Games Gone By, which is our series where we play an old game, we talk about like a book club kind of thing. So look, even it says right there, 4th or 5th time I've played it. Great game, fantastic. One of the best video game characters ever, which is Senator Armstrong. But yeah, there you go. Senator is still top tier, by the way. There you go. Combat is great. I will say that it has aged maybe a little bit. Like, it's been 8 years since the game came out. It's actually been 9 years almost now, but as of playing it at this point, it was around 8 years. Because it came out in 2013, but early 2013 too. I think it was like February 2013. But yeah, so it's been a little while. So I do think some of the gameplay has aged. Like, they could do a new game, and I feel like update a lot of the combat. Like, it's still really fun. Don't get me wrong, and cutting people up and stuff is great. But and it is also like a short length too. Well, it's as short as you want to make it, because you don't need to. A big part of the game and a big part of most Metal Gear games is like the conversations you have on the what is it called again? The codex? Is that what it's called? Codex calls? Yeah. So you can make it as short as you want. If you don't want to listen to any of that shit, you can make it 5 hours long, maybe even shorter. If you want to listen to that shit, it could be up to like 8-9 hours long. But because there's a lot of that stuff. But it's a super fun game still. I recommend it, especially since you can get it for like $10. So let me take a swig real quick. All right. That's right. These are actually. I'm actually getting surprised by going through these. Number 4 was the Halo 4 campaign. Me and a couple of the boys played this. They were going through all the Halo games. The Punked and the other guy. That's Adrian and David from the podcast. They're going through all the Halo games, and I think they're still trying to get through Halo Wars 2 right now, and then after that, they're done. They wanted to finish before Halo Infinite came out, and I think they wanted to finish before Halo Infinite came out last year, or 2 years ago. Sorry, it was supposed to come out 2 years ago at this point. I have to get used to this New Year shit. But yeah, so the one game I actually kind of wanted to replay was Halo 4, so I joined them on that one, and it's still a fun campaign. I think the story is great. I really liked all the Cortana Master Chief stuff. I really like that they try to make Master Chief more of a relatable human being. You know, that was a big part of the story. Which I think completely worked, honestly. Like all the Didact stuff, whatever. But all the Master Chief Cortana stuff, great. The graphics for the time were so incredible. Like, it's almost been 10 years since this game came out. This November, it would be 10 years since Halo 4 came out, and it still looks great. I actually would even argue that Halo 4, like, it probably doesn't look as good as Halo Infinite, technically. But man, I think it's close. Like, I watched like a cutscene recently again, like, and it fucking looks good. It really does look good. That game looked amazing for the time. Definitely the best looking Halo game of when it was first released, you know? So Halo 5 looked amazing too, I think, but Halo 4 just had something about it, you know? Like, it was still on 360. It was a year before Xbox One came out, so. Anyway, good campaign, has some iffy stuff about it, but pretty good, I thought. Of course, the boss battle at the end, which I give 343 Industries credit now. The Halo Infinite boss fights, which there's a lot of now, are way better than any of the boss fights in any Halo game previously. All right, so next is Werewolf The Apocalypse Earthblood, which I did a review for this, actually. I got a review code for it, which is it's not too often I get review codes for games. Like, actually, like, someone sends me a code through an email, which is cool. I get keymailer stuff here and there that I cover on the channel, but for the most part, when it comes to actually like getting an email saying you want this game, doesn't really happen too often. But you know what, I didn't actually mind this game. I know a lot of people are putting it on their worst of list. It took me about 9 hours to complete. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoy my time with this game. It's not good technically, but definitely not technically. Very, very wooden voice acting, really poor story. What else? The graphics suck. Here, I'll just read this. But it is surprisingly fun when you're going in there swiping enemies and stuff. And I think I put it on like the normal difficulty or whatever, so it wasn't like too hard. There's some mechanics I thought were kind of interesting. You have to switch between certain abilities and stuff. Not the most innovative, but it was not a bad game. I really don't think it was that bad. So that's just me personally. 6 out of 10. That's what I give it. I gave that 8. You can see the scores I'm giving it. Next is, oh yeah, I forgot I finished this. Pokemon Sword. Let me see. Can I? All right, maybe I zoom out a little bit so I can. Oh, actually, here, let me bring this over. Bring this over yonder here. I can move it like this. There you go. Pokemon Sword. 35 hours to complete. I was in the mood to play a Pokemon game around this time. And it was a perfect time to play something like this because there wasn't too many games coming out around this time. And I was just in the mood to play something like this. So I just fucking binged Pokemon Sword. Like, I started like mid-January, like right after like Ghost of Tsushima and like Immortals was done, and I was like, you know what, let's just go through a Pokemon game. Originally I was gonna go through it, but like not do every single thing, which I still didn't do. But I went through and I played way more than I thought I would. I thought I would just get through the story and stuff because I heard it's like the easiest Pokemon game ever, which is true. It actually is fucking like one of the easiest ones I've played. But to be fair, I haven't played a lot of the DS and 3DS ones. I stopped playing around the GBA era, and I would still play here and there like some of the DS and 3DS ones, but I never like fully finished any of those. I think the last Pokemon game I finished before this was I don't know, actually. Shit. Something on GBA, maybe Ruby. I don't know. I used to love Pokemon when I was a kid. I just kind of fell out of love with it for a little while. But this was a fun one. I didn't think it was great. I really enjoyed some of the new stuff. Like, I like the sharing XP, even though at first I wasn't caring for it. The graphics are alright. I hated the new Pokemon. All the new Pokemon could blow me. But it was fun. It was a fun time. So, there you go. Control Ultimate Edition. Now, this is a game I already finished back in 2020, but this is the Ultimate Edition on PS5, so you get that nice little rumble and little whatever in the DualSense. So I had to play it. Of course, it was free on PS Plus, even though I already had it on PS5. I still have a physical copy of it. This is great. I really enjoyed going through it again. Really, really fun, very hard, very challenging game. But super entertaining and still forgiving. You die, but you don't just lose all your progress, which I appreciate. I like a game where it's hard, but it's not penalizing you too bad, which I appreciate. It looks amazing, especially on the PS5. Runs really well on PS5 too, which had a problem on the 360. It would definitely have a hard time on the 360. It had a hard time on the regular Xbox One, which is what I played Control on originally. I've heard it also runs really well on Series X, but on PS5 it runs like buttery smooth, which I had a problem with for the Xbox One version of Control regular. Also, the Alan Wake DLC was amazing. I can't wait for Alan Wake 2 now. Hell yeah. So 9 out of 10. That's a great game. Next, I finally played Little Nightmares. I'm glad I got through that. I really wanted to play it for the longest time, and I finally did, and I thought it was great. I really loved it. Loved all the environments. Graphically, it looked amazing. I really appreciated how it was creepy, but not too creepy for me, you know? Like, it was still scary, but not, like, too scary, which is appreciated. Yeah, it was a fun little game. Some nice little platform puzzles and stuff. Not too crazy. Really enjoyed it. I still need to play Little Nightmares 2, though. I was playing this in prep to play Little Nightmares 2, and I never played Little Nightmares 2. I still have my copy sealed, by the way. Never even did an unboxing. So, there you go. Alright, had to pause real quick to go get me another drink. So, I'm good for the rest of this video now, baby. Alright. So, Little Nightmares. Really fun game. Took me about 4 hours to complete. Next. Oh, yeah. What a disappointment. Okay. Bright Memory. Of course, Bright Memory Infinite just came out, too. I think only on PC right now. I was actually looking forward to this game. They showed, not this, they showed Bright Memory Infinite at a previous Xbox, like, showcase, and it looked insane. It looked super fun, like, right up my alley. And I was like, oh, man, this is going to be the one game when I get my Series X, which is right around here, like, right, I think it was, like, late February is when I got my Series X. But that's going to be the first thing I play, and it was... pretty much, and I didn't like it. I don't know. It's just I thought I would enjoy it way more than I did. It was just a very mediocre game. I just didn't really like it. I didn't like the mechanics. I didn't like the feel of all the guns. I couldn't give a fuck less about the story, that's for sure. Considering it was 30 minutes, and I've heard that Bright Memory Infinite's like 2 hours, so like 2.5 hours of this game so far. It kind of sucks. I mean, to be fair, if you bought Bright Memory on Steam, then you got Bright Memory Infinite for free, which I thought was kind of cool when I heard about that. But yeah, very disappointing. Honestly, I'd probably give it a little bit lower too after thinking about it. I'd probably just give it a 5 straight up. I gave it 5.5 because I thought like some of the graphics look alright, and like the mechanics aren't terrible. It's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. It just didn't feel good, you know? I just want to play more Doom. Like, I just rather play that. I mean, you're not playing as a Japanese waifu in that, but whatever. I assume she's Japanese. I don't know. Oh yeah, it took me look at this. March 2nd. I was completing games pretty, like, what's the word? Frequently. I cannot speak. I swear. To be fair, I had about 3 hours of sleep today, so I'm sorry. But yeah, like pretty good. Like, look at this. Like, in the span of like a week, I've finished. Shit, I finished fucking that many games. Like, finished like 4 games. Wait, is this in the same? Yeah, around there. Yeah, like I finished a lot of games, and then just like 2 months of just nothing. Like, here you go. So anyway, number 10 was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which I'm so glad I finally played. We did a Games Gone By for this. Main reason why I played it this year. And I loved it. I really did. I thought it was a fantastic game. I actually didn't mind the gameplay. I know some people don't really care for it. I did not mind it at all. Thought it was fine. I just think the game itself is so fucking well made. Even not even considering the actual like combat gameplay is what I mean. It's just so well made considering it is technically an indie game. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing with some of the best sound design ever of all time. The story is great. The characters are all fantastic. It's just fucking, it's a top tier game everywhere besides the gameplay. But I actually like the gameplay. Like, I like the gameplay enough where I'm like, you know what, it doesn't really drag me down at all. It really doesn't. Like, if stuff like the Walking Dead season 1 could get Game of the Year, and the gameplay is pretty mediocre, and the performance for pretty much every version of that game was kind of shit, I feel like this should be up there too. Sadly, I don't think it won like any big awards at like the Game Awards or whatever. I think it won like best performance. It might have won like action adventure or something like that. And I know it probably won for Games for Impact or whatever, right? I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's a great game. It's a great game. I think it also came out, to be fair, in 2017, so maybe it was 2018. 2017 was a huge year. It was too big. Anyway, so fantastic game, 9.5 I gave it. Number 11, What Comes After, which is a short little like indie game about I don't really want to give away, like, it's about someone that's kind of given up, let's just say, and she's on a train with a bunch of ghosts that kind of convince her that it's not all over, just keep going. It's a really short, hour-long little experience. It cost a couple dollars. If you can get it for like even cheaper, like it cost me like I think $4 to get it. If you can get it for like a couple bucks, I think it's on Steam also. I played it on Switch. I recommend it. It's a nice little story, and it's from the guys that are doing. There's another game they did. They showed during the Indie World from last month about like your girlfriend died and you have to get over it or whatever. And it's also from the Coffee Talk people. That's the other game they made. All right, number 12, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. First time playing through Mass Effect 1. I've tried to play Mass Effect 1 so many times and just I did not like the gameplay. They finally fixed the gameplay, and guess what? Loved it. Thought the gunplay was fantastic. Loved the RPG elements with the gunplay too. I went for like an awesome like pistol build. So my character, my Shepard, had awesome pistol skills. And honestly, by the time I got to Mass Effect 2, I kind of missed the RPG elements when it comes to the gunplay and stuff. Really missed it because I really liked just like making my, Shepard unique in a way. So I kind of missed that, but it was a great game. I kind of got through it pretty quickly. Obviously, it says 22 hours to complete. I didn't do all the story stuff or the side stuff because I kind of wanted to get through it. Just wanted to play it, In the future, when I'm going through these games again, which is probably going to happen, I would love to like go through the first game slowly this time. But I really enjoyed going through it, and I can finally say I finished Mass Effect 1. So there you go. I still did do some side stuff. It's not like I didn't do, like... It's not like I just skipped all of it. Like, I did some. I just didn't do a lot. But yeah. Yeah, it's taken a lot out of me. It's almost like I only had 3 hours of sleep. Like I said, this is gonna be a long video. All right, let's see if I can get through the next couple quickly. Okay, Resident Evil Village took me 9 hours to complete. It took me actually a couple weeks to finish this because I was also playing Mass Effect 1 and 2 around this time. So like, no, was I? No, I guess I was just playing Mass Effect 1 at that time. I thought I was playing something else. Like I thought I played Mass Effect 1 and then went straight to 2 while I was still playing Resident Evil Village. I guess that's not true. Anyway, fantastic game. One of my favorites this year. Easily my top 5, most likely. I have to look. But fantastic game. What a great return for this franchise. Like it's been so amazing. Like even like with stumbles like Resident Evil 3, which I still thought was really good, honestly. But yeah, I get it. Like Resident Evil 3 was never my favorite Resident Evil game anyway, so like them taking stuff out doesn't really bother me too much. But Resident Evil 2 remake, of course, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village, even Resident Evil 3, I think, like with a couple of other stumbles, I guess, like that fucking the 2 multiplayer things that one came out, one didn't. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if that reverse thing never fucking comes out. But fantastic. Of course, mommy milker. Of course, you gotta do that. But anyway, for people confused, don't be. Just look. Anyway, great game. And yeah, I will agree with my past self. The last section did go on a little bit too long. And even though I want to replay this game, there is one part in the game that fucking terrified me so much that I actually didn't want to replay it yet. I will in the future. Just like there's one part like Resident Evil 7 I played like 4 times. Loved it. But in 2 I finished 2 times with Leon and 1 with Claire. So I didn't finish the B side for Claire. I don't think, at least. I might not have finished it with Leon either, honestly. I have to look. Resident Evil 3 I only finished once though. But the remake I'm talking about. So and the original I think I only finished once also, to be fair. But anyway, I've seen a lot of playthroughs for that game though. So anyway, great continuation. Like I said there, just read all that. Anyway, next, new Pokemon Snap. This year for Nintendo games, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed. Like not shitting on some of the actually great games, like the Mario 3D World, and of course like even the Skyward Sword remaster, which I enjoyed Skyward Sword a lot. I love that game actually, to be fair. And even like Mario Party, what the hell was it called? Superstars. Those are solid games in my opinion. But this and a couple other games, one of them is now on here, which is Mario Golf Super Rush, which I really did not like. Spoilers. We're just disappointing. Like new Pokemon Snap, it took me 13 hours to complete. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why I kept playing it, because I was not interested in it, but I was like so close to finishing it. I was just like, all right. Let's go. Like the first few hours, I was enjoying it, but it just got really monotonous. This game does not need to be this long. And to be fair, maybe it was my fault. I kept going back and back and back and doing other stuff. To be fair, you had to do that to unlock certain areas, but I did it maybe a little bit too much, so that's why it took me that long. But it was just kind of a disappointing game, like just straight up. Like that's what it was. It was just a disappointing experience. I really was excited for a new Pokemon Snap game. I fucking lost my shit when they announced it back in 2019. Or early 2020 or something like that, and I think it was like mid 2020 actually. So it actually came out pretty quickly after announcement, which is surprising. But I was very disappointed. I really was. Like I thought it was fun for the most part, and it does look really good. But it looks better than most of the Pokemon games. It looked better in Pokemon Sword, but I actually had more fun with Pokemon Sword because it was a Pokemon game, I guess. But like Pokemon Snap does not need to be any longer than like 3 or 4 hours, honestly. And of course you can replay it and stuff, but I don't know. Also, I thought like the boss fights were kind of monotonous. Some of them were just a little confusing. Like I had to look some of them out. Oh yeah, I forgot I played this. Paws Farm. You're probably like, what the fuck is this? It's a game you can finish in 15 minutes. Me and my friend Gerard were just on the store for Xbox, and we were just trolling around looking at some of the weird shit that got posted up for sale, and this was one of them, and we were like, what the fuck is this? And we played it. It's literally just a game. You go around some guy's farm, Peepaw, and you play as Peepaw too, and you have to like, all right, go get the tomatoes, go get the whatever. That's pretty much it. I mean, like there's no way to explain it. It's just like, hey, you have to do all these things, and you have to do them as fast as possible if you want to get all the achievements, and we did. It took us 15 minutes to complete. So shit game. Oh, here's a... Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. This is the good Warioware game I played this year. Sorry. 16 Warioware Gold took me about 2.5 hours to complete. I actually love this one. This is like the one Warioware game I never got around to playing, because I love Warioware games. This one was great. I really enjoyed it. Loved all the little cutscenes and stuff. Thought the mini games were super fun. It was really cool just going back to 3DS because it's been a little while since I played a 3DS game. So it was just really, really fun there just to go there and go and have fun. Even after I was done playing the story mode, I went back and just played some of the mini game modes and stuff. And it was just super, super fun. And it's actually a pretty beefy campaign considering how short the campaign we get in the new game is. We'll get to it because I did finish that one and that is in here. But yeah, it was a super fun game. I really enjoyed it. It was a great game to play right after E3 too. Like it was like a perfect post E3 game, you know? So there you go. I really enjoyed it. So Warioware Gold gave it 8.5. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Now, this one was great. I really enjoyed this game. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it should be nominated for Game of the Year like it was at the Game Awards. I feel like Returnal probably should have took that place. Because even though I gave it a 9, I'd probably give it maybe a little bit lower now after like the dust has settled. I'd probably give it like a 8.5. Still a great game. Not my favorite Ratchet & Clank game, honestly. I think I might prefer... I think I might prefer the 2016 game. I don't know. I just replayed that, or I just played that period in 2020. So you can watch my games I finished in 2020 video. I think it was 2020. Yeah, I think it was. I think I might have preferred that one over this one. Just like it's leaving more of a lasting impression because I played that one way like back in like late 2020 and. I think about that one more than I think about this one. Like, I like some of the new characters. I don't really care for the story of these games. Like, I just feel like Insomniac's writing isn't, like, the best, honestly. It's just, like, not really my style of humor or whatever. But the story here was okay. I actually kind of got invested a little bit more than I thought I was going to. And, yeah, the graphics are amazing. The combat's really good. There's just certain things in this one that I didn't love compared to the 2016 one. I don't know how to say it, but it was a great game. Great game. I highly recommend it, especially if you have a PS5 and you need a game for the PS5. You got this, you got Returnal, you got a good amount of stuff, okay? And stop complaining. Jesus. I see some people like, PS5 got nothing. Where's my games? There's plenty of stuff, okay? The first year of a console's release, you're not going to get a lot of shit. Like, I understand if this is your first console, but if it's not, I mean, you should know this by now. Anyway, 70, it took me 17 hours to complete. And that was 100% complete. Because I got all the trophies for that. Number 18, Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. 35 hours to complete. Fucking hell, this game is so amazing. Like, every character is fantastic. Every mission is great. Every piece of dialogue is fantastic. Just everything about this game is great. And now it looks better. So, I mean, that gotta be a 10. Come on, it's been 11 years since this game. 12 years! It came out January 2010. 12 years since this game came out. You gonna tell me 12 years it's still amazing? You're not gonna give it a 10? It's a 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Liara's Bay. Anyway. Tally's up there too. I know a lot of people love Tally. Alright, number 19, Space Jam: A New Legacy, the game. I think it's safe to say this is probably the worst game I played last year. I didn't play a lot of terrible games, which I'm gonna rectify very soon. Don't worry, because I have the worst games series coming up very soon. It is a fucking dull game. Like, it works. It was free, to be fair, but it was fucking dull. It was so dull, and it looked bland. Like, it was all bland. It was just so bland that it was bad, in my opinion. I know that sounds weird, but it wasn't even like so bad it was like kind of interesting to play. It was just so dull. It was boring and bland and bad, in my opinion. It was free. I don't care. I don't care if it's free. My time isn't free, and I spent it fucking playing that game. One of my favorite games that I played last year was To the Moon. What an emotional fucking train wreck this game is. Like, in a good way. This game really, like, depressed me for a little while. I'm not gonna lie. Fantastic game. Highly recommended. Play it, please. I don't even want to say much about it. Like, I didn't even know a lot about the story going into it. I knew about the game for years and years. Another game I really wanted to play for years and never got around to it. Glad I did. Played it almost all in one day, too, which I think is, like, the perfect... I think that's the perfect way to play it. Like, I think I played, like, an hour of it, like, a couple days before, and then I finished the rest, like, a couple days later or whatever. And it was a great experience. It really was. I highly recommend To the Moon. Fantastic game. Now I need to take a swig, because I'm losing my voice here. All right, let's go. Next is Saints Row the Third Remastered. This was right after they announced the new Saints Row. So I was like, I want to play a Saints Row game. So I played Saints Row the Remastered, the third remastered, which I actually wanted to play back in 2020 when they first released the remastered because it was like a really well done remaster. And it took me until now, and it's a great remaster. I think it does a great job of updating the graphics, keeping everything else, making of course the performance better and stuff like that. Looks really good. It plays really well still after 10 years. It's a fun game. I don't care what anybody says. I know Saints Row 1 and 2 people think are better, which is fine. I just think this is a really fun game. You can just you just get in there and have fun. It's a fun, crazy game. I liked it a lot. I was glad I played it again. Mafia Definitive Edition. I started this back in 2020. Never finished it. I probably got like maybe 3 or 4 hours in. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do a recap of the story. Like to the point where I stopped playing. And I'm just going to finish the game. I could have restarted the game, but I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to do that. And I got like a quick little recap. It was just all the like cutscenes and stuff. So it was like 30 minutes of cutscenes. And then I just got back into the game. I was like, all right, cool. Great game. Fantastic story. Loved all that stuff. All the characters were really solid. The gunplay actually I enjoyed quite a bit. I just wish the city, they did a great job of remastering the city. They just like, what was the point? Because the graphics were amazing. The cutscene graphics are fantastic. But what was the point of making the world look so fucking good and there's nothing to do in it? There's nothing. To the point where like when you're driving to a mission, it has a skip the drive button. Which you might as well do because the graphics are nice. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing to do in the city. Really, I mean, I think there's like collectibles to get. But there's no side missions. There's no people to talk to or whatever. Like they should really put a little bit more effort into that. But to be fair, it was also a $40 game. It was a really good remake. I mean, it says Definitive Edition, but it was a remake. It was solid. It made the game a little bit more tolerable to play because I do remember Mafia 1 back on the PS2. I don't even know if I finished it, to be honest. I remember it being fucking really difficult. But it was super fun. Super fun to play. All right, here we go. Some people might consider DLC shouldn't count, but when it comes to this, I feel like it should. It took me 12 hours to finish this. Like, I could have finished like 6, like what remains of Eva Finch like length games or whatever in the span it took me to finish this one DLC. This is Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island, of course, which is the big ass expansion that came out for Ghost of Tsushima's PS5 update. It was also on PS4, but it came out at the same time as the PS5 version. And I thought it was fantastic. It was a great DLC. Considering I think it costs like, what, $20? You get 12 hours more of Ghost of Tsushima. And you get a brand new island. You get new things to do. You get like a little like flute thing you can play now to appease the animals and stuff. It was good stuff. You do a little of this. It was really good stuff. And I thought the story itself was actually really important because it actually fleshes Jin's character out. So if you play this DLC and all the other stuff, then this game's like around a 70-hour game and all the content's really good. I will say playing this DLC made me realize maybe there's a little bit too much of you walk up to a camp, Jin's like, looks like there was a fight or whatever, and then you just have to follow a trail of footsteps or whatever, or blood or whatever. There's a lot of that, which is a very common thing in these type of games. Like even like Red Dead Redemption had that. Hold on, my hair is being weird again. But like I think Assassin's Creed is one of the bigger examples of like, I guess that's like a tailing mission, but that's not exactly what I mean, but whatever. Anyway, great DLC though. Next one, oh, I'm so glad I finally got to play this game. This is another Games Gone By game. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Whoo! Buddy, was this game challenging, but super fucking fun and so good looking. I love the look of this game. Like I didn't really love some of the like what's like equipment that you get. I didn't love a lot of like I feel like I got really good at a certain like a certain amount of like I'm forgetting what they're called now. God damn it, like blood shard things or whatever. Like your little demon abilities. Like I got really good with certain ones and then I never used any other ones unless I had to progress in the game. Which I feel like maybe that's just a fault of mine, but I feel like if I'm doing so well, and this game is a pretty challenging one, I'm doing pretty well, there's only select few times where I had to change up my shards. But besides that, fantastic game. Looked great. Played on my PC, so I got to run it at the highest setting. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really, really good game to play while you're like listening to podcasts or whatever. The music's great. Everything's great about it. So the story itself, I didn't really care for, but I don't think that's like a big part of this game anyway. I just know I had an argument with a certain somebody in our podcast about the story, and I was just like, the story's not really a big deal, but he was talking about how he loved the story, and I was just like, no, you didn't. Yeah, I said it. No, you didn't. All right, so great game. I'm very happy I played that because it was I took that cap off like a fucking moron. I'm just gonna leave the cap off. I don't know why. Watch, that's gonna be the one time where it spills all over my keyboard or some shit. All right, if you're happy, you know, go to the next one. All right. Cruisin Blast. Now, this one I put quotes for complete because this is one of those games where it's like an arcade game. So really to complete it, there's no like campaign or whatever, but to complete it, you just pretty much play all the courses. And there's a mode, kind of like arcade mode, where you go through and you complete all the courses and you get like gold stars or whatever. And that's pretty much what I did. So fucking fun though. What a fun game. If this game was like a $20 game, which I think you can probably get it for $20 now, I would 100% recommend it. I would actually give it a higher score, but because it was a $40 game, there's not enough content. There's no online multiplayer, which I don't understand why there isn't. But it is a fucking fun game. I can't get over how fun the game is. How fun it is just to play, to look at, to experience. It's just a fun, like, look at the color scheme. It looks great on an OLED, by the way. On my Switch OLED, it's like, ooh, it looks so good. It fucking pops. It's such a great, great game. I just wish it didn't cost $40 when it first came out. But if you can get it for like 20, that's a sweet spot, I think. Like, even if you get like 3 or 4 hours of gameplay and you're done, as long as it's 3 or 4 hours of fun gameplay, $20, that's pretty good. But anyway, if I had online multiplayer, I would have recommended it. Even for 40, I think, because I would have played a shit ton of that. But you can only get so much experience from just playing against bots, I guess. Anyway, here it is. All right, so WarioWare, get it together. They should fucking get it together because I just don't like this game. I really don't. Like, actually, I gave it a 6. I honestly would probably give it a less now. Just like thinking more and more about it, I really did not like this game. I really didn't. I really wanted to. When they first showed this at E3, I was worried because they showed it and it had like little like miniature versions of the characters like Wario and everybody else and moving around during the mini games, which like these games are supposed to be all about just being quick, like press a button or move the stick, you know, but now you have to when a mini game starts, your brain has to go, okay, where's my character? Here he is. Now I have to use that character to finish the mini game. So right there, there's like an added step in these because these are supposed to be fucking micro, like quick, like oh, press that button, move up, but now you have to like, oh, where's my character? Okay, well, that character can jump weird. Okay, I like the idea they went with. I just don't think it was executed all that well. The story mode is so lame too. It's so lame. There's no cutscenes. There's no real fun. I mean, there is, but they're not good. It felt like a budget version of a WarioWare game. It felt weird, and which is strange because it was like the most expensive WarioWare game since like the Wii, I think, because most of them have been on like DS and 3DS. But yeah, it's just a very disappointing game. I didn't like it. I didn't like the mini games really. I didn't like the vibe. It just felt like a off-brand version of a WarioWare game. Like Gold, I think, did a great job of really being weird, having fun little cutscenes before everything, and there's still cutscenes in this, just not enough. I don't know. I didn't like it. I think Gold is way better, superior. Next, oh, we get into the good shit now. Kena or Kenna, I don't know. I still call it Kena. I think they call her Kenna in the game though. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. I'll call her that. Took me 12 hours to complete. What a fantastic looking game. It fucking looks amazing. The story is emotional. The combat's really, really good and actually pretty challenging if you play on a normal difficulty, or I'm sure if you play on a harder one. And it's so impressive because this is from people that only did animation before. They did animation. They were an animation team and they learned how to make a video game. And this is their first video game and they fucking nailed it immediately. I love this game so much. I was so excited for this game that I immediately bought a physical copy of it, even though I bought it digitally. And I can't wait for future stuff from Ember Lab. I think Kenna Bridge of Spirits is one of the best games of the year. In my opinion. 9 out of 10. Loved it. Loved it. Next, Night Trap. Oh man, Night Trap was a fun game. I'm so glad I finally played this game because I've seen some people play it before. It's a fun game to watch people try to figure out. And I actually surprisingly had a good time gameplay wise. I actually did not hate this. I did a gore plays for it. After that, I had to finish it myself, so I had to look up like how to actually play. And by the time I figured out how to actually play, it was pretty easy. It was just like, all right, there you go, and I finished it. It was a really really fun game though. I had a really good time just pretty much watching this movie and like trying to get as many of those goons as possible. And I had a good time. There's really not much else to say besides it's a notorious game. Don't know if it deserved being as controversial as it did before, like back in the day. Like it's not even, it's like a PG-13, like because it's a movie. I'm going to consider it PG-13. Like it really is. Like, there's like no violence whatsoever. Really, the worst it gets is like you see a little bit of blood. That's about it. Like a little bit, like very little bit. Like even fucking like you can put that shit in a PG movie probably. All right, next. Luna's Fishing Garden. You probably never heard of this game. It's on Steam. It's a quick little game. It's very chill. You just go around this little like fishing garden, I guess. Luna's the dog character right next to the main character is who you play as. And the pixel art is very, very good. The music's very, very mellow. You're just going around, you're fishing, you're solving people's problems and stuff, and you're trying to go back home. You're just trying to solve the fishing garden's problem and then go home. It's a really chill game. I highly recommend it if you want a chill experience. It's only like $6-7 and it took me about 4 hours to complete. So you actually get a good amount of gameplay for your money, I think. More games need to be like 4 or 5 hours long. Anyway, oh, here you go. I'm gonna have to. There you go. Bubble People. This was a weird one because this is the same day I finished that Luna's Garden, fishing garden, and I just saw this on Steam. I was like, this looks weird. It's a game that literally is like if you're popping bubble wrap, but they made it into a video game and they somehow made it depressing. Very weird. It doesn't have like a written story, you know what I mean? There's no dialogue really, but it's very like you see where it's going, you understand it. It's very subtle in the way that it's like very, I don't know, vague, but not too vague where you're confused. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't think that makes sense. But anyway, it was a good game, free, so you can play it on Steam for free. I recommend it actually. Number 31, Limbo. This is the first time I played this game in a couple years, and I had it on the Switch. I don't think I played on the OLED though. I think it was like right before I got the OLED I played this, which was probably the worst. No, wait, the atmosphere is top. No, I can only imagine how good this looked. Yeah, see, there you go. I set it right in there. Fantastic game still. Fantastic. Just the mood, atmosphere, even the story, which is so, like, talk about vague stories. It's very vague. But it's one of those cool ones where people could just, like, discuss this game for years and years to come and still, like, come up with different interpretations. Maybe not as many as Inside, but, yeah, it's a great game still. One of the best out there. 9.5. Next, Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles. It took me about 8 hours to finish the story mode. I actually wrote 2 things about this. I think the gameplay itself was really good. The graphics are really solid. The multiplayer stuff is really fun. All the characters are super easy to really pick up and play. I think the story mode itself is a fucking huge disappointment, though, because I was expecting it to really, like, open up and be like, oh, you walk around as Tanjiro and, like, interact with people, and you do that, I guess, but it's so fucking, like, basic. You're literally, it's point A, point B, walking. You'll collect some things that you can use to unlock certain things later, but that's about it. There's no, like, I was hoping it would be kind of like open world game. Like some of the Naruto games in the past were kind of like that. I almost want to say, like, I think Rise of the Ninja, or is it just Rise of Ninja? I don't remember. But I played that one, and that game had like you run on fucking rooftops and stuff. It was really cool. But no, not this game. This game, you didn't really get that. It was very linear. And that's why I had to give it a 7 out of 10, because that's what I was excited about. I was excited about that story mode. And the cutscenes, they do a good job, and there's some like QTE moments that are actually pretty well done. Yeah, just like the campaign itself was pretty big disappointment. It was pretty big disappointment. Anyway, next is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, you know, this is one of those games during E3. You can even see mine and Adrian's reaction to this game when it first got shown. We were actually like, yeah, this looks really good. We were actually excited for this game, and I feel like we were the only two people in the world that were fucking excited for this game. And guess what? It ended up being a great game. At least I thought so. Great game, great graphics, great, fantastic story. One of the best stories in video games last year, which is a huge surprise. Very emotional, great writing, very funny. All the characters are great. I actually prefer these versions of the Guardians over the MCU Guardians. I think every single version of them too. Like, maybe not Groot. Like, I love Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And then, of course, Teen Groot and Baby Groot could go fuck themselves. Don't like those versions, but I'm talking about adult Groot. I think everybody's great. So it's a fantastic game. I loved it. Next, Kentucky Route Zero TV edition. This was another Games Gone By game, and I had a great time with this one. It's another one where it's very, not vague, but like surreal. It's very surreal. If you just kind of go with it, you kind of understand where it's going. You understand what's the whole point of the plot. But the characters are actually really likable. The art style is fantastic. And it's a really, really solid adventure. And it's one of those where, like, just thinking about how it took like 7 years or something like that, 7-8 years to finish it. Because it released episodically and it took a long time for each one to come out. It's one of those games where, like, even though you didn't play them or at least I didn't play them when they first came out, you could feel like there's a big progression. You know what I mean? Like, when I was done with episode 4 and went to episode 5, I know there was like a 2-3 year wait in between those two. You felt it. And it was a great story. It really was. And it gets emotional, and it's deep, let's just say. It looks great too. All right, so that's Kentucky Route Zero. And my last game for 2021 was Portal. We're doing another Games Gone By, and we did it for Portal and Portal 2. Didn't finish Portal 2 yet, even though I finished it multiple times in the past, so I didn't really need to. Portal 1, it's been a little while since I played that game, so I wanted to play that. And it's fantastic still. I will say I think Portal 2 is better, but I think it's a fantastic masterpiece of a game. It's just one of those games where all you have to say is fantastic. It's super well written, super clever, has some great moments. Going deep into Aperture Science laboratories and stuff is really cool towards the end of the game. And it's like a 2-3 hour game, and I highly recommend it. The puzzles are still solid, even if they're not the most challenging. They're super fun to do, which is perfectly fine with me. I don't mind a super easy puzzle game as long as it's fun to play, and this is definitely one of those where it's super fun to play. It almost reminds me of like a speedrunning game. You know, when you're so good at like a Resident Evil game where it's not even challenging anymore, you could still have fun doing that speedrunning stuff. You know, you're just going through and stuff. You're like, oh, there's a zombie here, and then you run by them and stuff. It's almost like that with Portal, where you're like, oh, it's all the same shit, and you've done it before, and it's easy, but it's super fun to do. You know what I mean? So there you go. That is all 35 games I finished in 2021. Real quick, if you want to see this thread, you can follow me on Twitter. But real quick, here you go. Just going to scroll through real quick. Not too slow, not too fast either. These are all the games I finished. Even put little pictures there. I'm glad I did this because every time I do one of these videos, it takes me a little while to accumulate all the pictures that to show off for this. You know what I mean? Like, I usually get pictures to show here, but because I did it like this, I don't need to do that. I can just use my Twitter thread, which is genius. So good job, Gore. Thanks, Gore. And that's it. So hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you finished throughout the year of 2021. Any games you want to finish in 2022, let me know. And until next time, I need to rest my voice because I'm losing it. Jesus. Ooh, this went on way longer than I thought I was going to. I thought I could finish this in 30 minutes or less, but nope. We're getting close to 50 though, so let's wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.